Well, now here's a website that's going to put the SBA out of business. You know, the SBA, the Small Business Administration. We all heard of SBA loans. Well, this website is really going to make it more community oriented, so local businesses now don't have to go to the SBA loan so they help finance your business or whatever you need. No, the community does it, because you know the kind of businesses you want in your community. So what this website is having the community lend the money, so you don't have to go through Congress and then go through the Small Business Administration, go through all that kind of stuff. You go on this website, and the people in the community who think, hey, that's a good business to have. We need a coffee shop here. We need a vegan bakery, or we need a fish and bait shop, where we live, or whatever it is. These kind of small businesses. So if everyone helps lend the person money to get a business, you get the money back. You get the business, and you don't have all this overhead of politicians and bureaucracy and all that kind of stuff, to get these things to happen, for communities to grow. So this way the community can grow itself by the people voting with their pocketbook. Actually, it's just their lending money. They get the money back. And this business has been around for a while already, and they have probably a better failure rate than the Small Business Administration, because it's people involving people. You get money from the SBA, it's some bank, giving the cash, the SBA guarantees, and everybody's playing with somebody else's money. Now, when you're getting money, like from your brother-in-law or whatever it is, I mean, you got to see him in church Sunday, right? You're a little more motivated to make the payments on time. And what has happened now, because of the internet, it makes all that processing easier. So now, if the community want to get together and do something like that, hey, we need a store here and the guy needs 10 grand to do it, so let's all chip in, we'll get our money back as part of the profits and all that kind of stuff, can happen. But it's all taken care of on this platform, who charges next to nothing to make it happen. This is what's going on with the financial industry. As the fat cats on Wall Street that run everything, and everybody gets money from these guys, and they don't care about them, so they don't care if they pay the money back or not. But here it's local. And that's why everybody talks about, oh, the community, the internet is making people less social. Well, I think there's an argument that's making people more social. How can I lend my, local entrepreneur money directly instead of going through all these middlemen, to get the money to them? It's what's happening in our society. There's going to be more and more that way. And then there's going to be investments. When the Jobs Act, that's a bill that passed 2 years ago, and we haven't. The Securities and Exchange Commission hasn't got the final rules out for us to invest now as partners, not lending, but partners. So watch this. This is what's coming. Well, it's already here. Watch. Well, Casey Dillaway of Community Source Capital, and my earplug's falling out. Oh my goodness. But more importantly, man, Community Source Capital, I mean, to me is the epitome of what we should be doing in the country to support small businesses. No, I really believe it. And because you're really providing loans to small businesses who can't get it in normal traditional places, but it's coming from their community. Instead of having some fat cat with a cigar we joked about earlier in New York trying to get a loan from them, no, it's people in the community chipping $50 a piece, right? And get a loan for these people, and you have hundreds of people doing this already, and it's just a perfect thing for your community anywhere in the country, right? And you're in about a half a dozen states now and growing if you have people interested, and it's just wonderful. So what made you do this, or why did you see such a need?
Well, we were both compelled by the need for small businesses to get different types of capital, and then individuals wanting to put money to work in their community, which is totally a hard thing to do often, and there needed to be a system that connected these two things, and that's why we created a way for people to lend small amounts of money to businesses they know.
So in other words, if I'm a local coffee shop, in the neighborhood, and man, I want a good espresso machine, and I need 10 grand for this, big Mahuna espresso machine, that I could go on your site and you guys help me through the whole thing, right? Kind of thing, to raise this $10,000. But I'm getting it from people in my community, right? It's not from people all over the world. I guess I can, but it's mostly people in the community. So to me, my coffee shop really has an excuse to market to the community, doesn't it? It gives
Yeah, it's
it,
a really good way to bring your community into the story of your business. They're
yeah.
in there the following month looking for the espresso machine, ordering a latte.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could have the latte of the day is brought to you by, and one of your supporters.
Yes. Yes.
That would be a cool little idea. You get to have your name on the latte of the day, is brought to you by, or even the local car company, or even other local businesses, in your community. You can name stuff after them, for the day. No, it's great, and it's a way to get the community involved, because I don't want to help Starbucks, because I know, most of that money's going to Seattle, where you are, right?
Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah.
So I want to help those two ladies down the street who want to start the coffee shop and need that espresso machine. So I give them $50 and I get my $50 back.
Yeah, we've had a really good success rate with people getting paid back. And, people are putting $50 in and getting paid $50 back. And
Wow.
that doesn't mean that it's a way to diversify your 401k, but it's certainly a nice way of keeping money in the system. And some people actually get repaid and then reloan it to another business.
Wow. So
that's a really fun way of, finding out about new businesses or building a, relatively small portfolio of ways that you've put money to work for people in your community.
Well, instead of that, right? I mean, unusual businesses. I mean, I wonder how a coffee shop works. Well, now I'm an owner, right? I led to this guy, so I can find out how a coffee shop works, and I find out all the insides on something like that. I mean, and plus, you become attached to your community, which is a nice feeling.
Yeah.
To me, instead of the barista at Starbucks who, is probably a college kid from the next town,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll never meet the owner. And this brings the community together. So not only are you helping, the investor because they get their money back, the small business because they're growing with that money. But the community, I mean, you're getting community-supported businesses. And see, to me, that's what our country is about. It's sort of like, the schools are locally run. They're not, everybody hates them run by the government in Washington, so they're locally run, yeah. So the more we get locally run businesses, instead of these big chains, we'll get stuff we really want.
Yeah, we're really small. We've only done about $400,000 in loans for 25 businesses from about 2,500 lenders. But in Seattle, I mean, we get to work all over the country because we have an online platform that lets us do that. We still, talk to every single customer we've had, every borrower.
Wow.
But in Seattle, we've, I think, put together about 200,000 in loans. So we do most of our work where we live, and that's still a small amount of money. But if you add another zero or another 2 zeros on the end of it, then you can really see how a robust community lending system could have a totally different.
Well, right. I mean, just think of our local, where I live, is sort of it's a little community, a suburb of Washington D.C., and have a $2 million development plan is huge. Yeah, I mean that would be 50 to 100 jobs at least. And so if you're able to create that in a community, man, that's what all is all about, is creating jobs. So what you're doing is having, instead of going to the government, getting the town council to pass legislation, to do the $2 million or whatever it is for community development, you're getting it direct from the community, and they say what it should be used for.
Yeah, and we never really direct the money to different businesses. It's just about people putting money to work for businesses they know, and in that sense, it's entirely social, and people don't lend money to businesses they don't like.
Exactly, right. So that's me. So instead of hoping my elected representative is going to use the money right way, no, I want my $50. Instead of paying the taxes, I'll pay it right here and give it to those two ladies to get the espresso machine, because they're going to hire somebody else, and we're going to grow the community that way. So you're really in the economic development business. You're not lending money.
Well, we've started working closer with economic development offices in Seattle. We've been working on a partnership with them, and it is a combination of both, the different types of technology and just a different view on the way that money could move around in communities, and it's exciting to everyone we're working with.
Well, I would think because an old, the city council will never think of, oh, let's go crowdfunding, get the money instead of raising taxes, right? It's easier for them to try to raise taxes. They wouldn't know how to do what you're doing. So you're showing them, another way to do all this without having to raise taxes. And the people who really want it are going to contribute to it. That's what's so neat about it. Yeah. Oh, wow. So when are you going to run for president?
Do you think that would ever be a good idea?
I would never want the job. It sounds dreadful.
I like being a small business.
But now this is wonderful, Casey, and I think what you're doing is really on the forefront of what's happening in our country, and it should, and it's only young people like you who are able to see that opportunity. Old people like me are trying to make old stuff work again, and it won't. Yeah. And we need young people like you to take these new ideas and shove it down our throat, whether we like it or not, just like their parents used to do to you. You have to do to us.
You might be interested to hear that, I'm the youngest person on our team, but our team spans the age ranges of 20-something to 50-something. So we have a whole, we're not a bunch of young men in a Silicon Valley startup. We're a pretty diverse group of people working on this concept.
Oh, that's wonderful, because that's what really takes. It takes help from everybody to get something done, and that's what you're doing, and that's what you're doing with your financing locally, taking the entire community to get something done in the community, and you're doing it in an entrepreneurial way and using capitalism to provide social good, right?
How great.
Well, thank you, Casey. It's communitysourcedcapital.com. That's community, SOURCED, capital, CAPITAL.com. Well, Casey, you're a delight. Thanks for doing this work, and I'll see you when you have 5,000 people out there doing this stuff all over the world, okay?
Okay, thanks. Looking forward to it.
Take care.
Bye.